Okay, so now let's side swing from the equities market into the fixed income market, but this time we're talking specifically about the Sukuk bond. That's what you call the Islamic bond, which is another investment option which actually gathers a lot of attention and momentum from investors across within Nigeria and outside. Earlier this week, that was on Wednesday, we saw that the Debt Management Office had announced the seventh bond, a Sukuk bond issuance, which is targeting or seeking to raise about 300 billion naira from investors in order to finance some of the projects across the country. We've seen the impact of the Sukuk bonds spread across infrastructures around Nigeria. But at the same time, we also saw that there was this probe calling from the Senate, but we'll talk more about that. But let's talk more about the Sukuk bond. And we have Akpenwe Oputu, Chief Dealer with Lotus Bank, to give us details about that. Thank you for joining us, Akpenwe.
Thank you for having us on the program today.
Okay. Okay, so now my first question is, I want to ask, the government seeks to target about 300 billion naira from the latest Sukuk bond offer. So now what are the expectations in terms of what investors are going to be doing about this latest bond offer?
So like you mentioned, the DMO has stated that they were going to issue about 300 billion in Sukuk issuance come April. This will be the largest, the highest that has been set in the market. The last auction, if you remember, was in October of 2023. So in 2024, we had market participants still scouting for Sukuk papers to invest in, and there was none issued in 2024. So 1 year later, now 300 billion on offer. We think we'll see a lot of investors play out in the market. We expect that the subscription will outweigh the amount that is on offer. Last year, in 2023, it was 150 billion that was on offer, and we saw over 650 billion in subscription. So we expect that we'll see a lot of demand flow into the market this time around. You know, like you mentioned, this is the seventh paper that will be issued, and a total of 1.2 trillion so far has been issued in Sukuk bonds. So the market is really expanding. We see a wide array of investors in this market. It's not just Sukuk bonds, is not just for those that are Sharia faithful. There are just some level of people, investors who are really interested in ethical instruments and ethical papers, where you can see the underlying assets that the funds are being utilized for. And that's what makes it different from the other federal government bond issuances that have been in the market. And like you mentioned, the lawmaker, the Nasarawa State lawmaker who has come out with a probe to see what those funds have been utilized. I think there are evidences to show, if you go around and you really look out for these signages, you can actually see what those projects have, those funds have actually been raised for and been utilized for. It's just a question of maintenance, really, for the federal government to see that those funds, at every point in time that these projects are done, we carry out maintenances on those projects time and time over.
Okay, I think we've dusted the part of the Sukuk and given clarity to that probe that was being called for by the senators. But now let's talk about the second quarter. We're expecting the second quarter bond issuance calendar as well as the Treasury bills issuance calendar. Now, what are the expectations, given that the DMO is expected to raise about 5 billion in the short term in Treasury bills issuances?
Okay, so like you mentioned, the DMO was able to roll over the amounts that matured in the first quarter. You know, these are recurrent expenditures for the Treasury bills because they're actually short-tenured papers. So the federal government is borrowing a lot. We are expecting the second quarter paper to calendar to come out really soon. And we expect to see that the takings and the borrowings will also be rolled over in the second quarter this time around.
Okay, so now let's talk FX. Nigeria's FX level, this is the month of March going out, and then we started January at about 40.92 billion, but it has come down So tell us, what's the exact level and how is the activity at the Forex market as we speak?
So I want to speak to the level of transparency in the Forex market. It's really been good for foreign investors. They've actually seen stability in the markets. There's a lot of liquidity in the market as well. And we've seen the CBN come into the market time and time again to ensure that there's transparency in the market, and the levels at which the Naira is trading right now is fair to investors and also to stakeholders. For those who are looking to do products or imports, the price stability has been fair. We've seen it around 1540 levels, and there's been no speculation in the markets whatsoever. So there's a willing buyer and willing seller market right now. So buyers are able to get funds at the market to be able to purchase goods at every point in time that it is required. So the central bank has actually done a lot with this B-match system to ensure that the market is truly transparent. And there's a lot of trainings going on for traders in the market to ensure that the investors that are looking into this market, they actually feel very comfortable right now with where the activities are.
I'm really glad that investors are really comfortable at that, particularly for Nigeria's FX market, which of course is a very, very important market across all spheres of the economy. So thank you so much for your view on our show.
Thank you.